screwed the pooch and were not cleaning up after it. At 1:04 p.m., my phone rang. Blocked number. Decline. Then again, this time CoreLynx CFO direct. Decline. Third time voicemail. I let it roll. He sounded like someone trying not to sound like someone losing his mind. Amanda. Hi, look, I know this is not ideal, but we just had a bit of a hiccup with the signing today, and I was wondering if we could connect. Briefly, just to clarify some details on the compliance chain, nothing major. You know, dotting I's, crossing T's. Call me. I played it twice. Then deleted it. They thought this was a hiccup. They still didn't get it. It wasn't a hiccup. It was a lung collapse. I opened my laptop, checked the Federal Liaison Registry again. My name was still listed. No substitution filed. No recertification request submitted. No alternate key in place. Without that key, Macrovia's automated signature sequence couldn't pass the compliance gate. No handshake, no merger, no exceptions. The more they panicked, the calmer I got. It was like watching a fire you didn't set, but you did remove the batteries from the smoke alarm. The kind of quiet power that doesn't ask for applause, it just exists, undeniable and irreversible. I got a text from Kyle. They're freaking out. Legal is blaming IT. IT is blaming legal. Tate says it's a temporary credentialing bug. This is insane. He followed it up with, did you do this? I just sent a single emoji, let them interpret it however they wanted. I made a grilled cheese sandwich, watched reruns of Judge Judy, answered a few emails for my other consulting gig, the one I'd kept on the side quietly for the last 6 months, just in case. At 4:00 p.m., mass calendar invite went out to the company. Emergency all hands 4:30 p.m. conference room alpha. The subject line said, realignment and roadmap discussion. Translation, damage control. That room was about to fill with buzzwords and flop sweat. And me? I wasn't even on the guest list anymore. But I was watching, quiet, steady, letting the ripples spread on their own. At 9:06 a.m. on Monday, the email landed. The subject line was cold and bureaucratic. Pending merger immediate compliance review required the body was even colder. To whom it may concern, due to the unplanned termination of the listed third-party liaison without replacement, Macrovia Group is formally pausing all executional aspects of the acquisition. Compliance obligations under Section 4.7 and 9(c) are currently unmet. Until resolution, transaction is considered suspended indefinitely. 4 lines, no room for argument, no spin. The kind of message that makes CFOs drop their coffee and HR reps start dry heaving into the recycling bin. And me? I was sitting at my kitchen table in sweatpants, pouring almond milk into my cereal, watching it happen in real time. The buzz on LinkedIn. The finance blogs catching wind. A post from someone at Macrovia that read, simply, always verify your bridges before you burn them. I couldn't have written it better myself. Daniel, my lawyer, sent off the final documentation 30 minutes later, fully notarized, signed in blue ink, sent priority with a digital confirmation. The letter was short but lethal. Miss Amanda Delaney has no further professional, contractual, or advisory obligations to CoreLynx systems, effective retroactively to the date of her termination. All compliance duties tied to the Macrovia transaction have ceased. He even added a nice legal flourish about proprietary knowledge and third-party vendor independence. I didn't even ask him to, but Daniel's a pro. He knew exactly what was about to happen. The minute that letter hit Macrovia's compliance inbox, the door slammed shut. Legally, structurally, practically, they couldn't just hire someone new and pick up where I left off. The deal wasn't a PDF they could forward, it was a hand-stitched parachute, and I'd been the one sewing the cords. Rip me out and they're falling with no drag. Later that afternoon, I opened a new tab and registered QuietSeal LLC. It took 11 minutes. EIN, registered agent, bank account pending. Just like that, Amanda Delaney was no longer an employee. I was an entity, a vendor, a firewall with a mailing address and a licensing clause. My phone stayed silent most of the day. No more calls from the CFO, no desperate texts from Kyle, but I knew they were talking. I could feel the boardroom tremors from 3 ZIP codes away, because now the whispers were starting. Wait, did Amanda have side equity in the Macrovia pipeline? Did she build the original data bridge? Was she acting as a vendor this whole time? No, I wasn't, but they wanted to believe I was, because otherwise they'd have to face the fact that I was just a salaried ghost they ignored, until I became the keystone holding up their entire castle. Funny how people rewrite history when the present starts burning. I got a text from an unknown number that evening. Just 2 words, well played. No name, no signature. Probably someone from legal, or maybe Macrovia's COO, or maybe one of the other ghosts who watched everything from the wings and never said a word. I didn't reply, I was done playing. This wasn't a game anymore, it was architecture. Clean lines, elegant collapse, an old building raised not with dynamite but with precision. A single screw removed, a single key store revoked. A signature never written, the betrayal didn't sting anymore, that was over. Now I just felt focused. Clean, unburdened. Somewhere downtown, Tate was probably sweating through his shirt, facing a glass conference room while someone pointed at Clause 9. See, projected on the wall like it was the Zodiac Killer's note. And me? I was adding a new tagline to my LLC website draft. QuietSeal LLC compliance without compromise. Had a nice ring to it, and it was about time someone remembered who built the damn bridge. It started with a whisper in the elevator, one of those dry-mouthed, wide-eyed conversations executives think no one hears. By mid-morning, it had metastasized into a board-wide panic. Someone leaked a red-line document from Macrovia's legal team, termination of Amanda Delaney Void's acquisition standing. The phrase bounced through every hallway like a live grenade. Suddenly, directors were sitting bolt upright in meetings. Phones rang without pause. Lawyers shouted over each other like caged dogs, while the PR team frantically prepared contingency statements in case the news hit the press. And hit it did. A financial blog posted a blind item. Unnamed Ohio-based tech firm loses key compliance asset mid-merger. Deal in limbo. $300M on the line. They didn't name CoreLynx, but they didn't have to. Inside the building, the air turned to ice. The CFO called me again. This time, he didn't bother with pleasantries. His voice was high-pitched, cracking, like a balloon about to pop. Amanda, I swear to God, this is your fault. You're holding us hostage. Do you even understand the position you've put us in? This could kill the company. You can't just walk away. I didn't answer. Just stared at the screen as it buzzed and rattled on the table. Then it stopped. Then again, voicemail, I let it roll. His tone had changed, now it was pleading. Amanda, we're willing to be flexible. Just please call me back. We can work something out. Macrovia won't accept anyone else. I keep saying material personnel discrepancy, and legal saying you were never replaced. It's a technicality, right? We can fix it. Please just talk to me. Click. I watched the waveform load into my inbox and deleted it without listening again. It wasn't a technicality. It was the whole damn structure. They hadn't just removed a cog. They'd taken a match to the foundation and acted surprised when the roof caved in. Macrovia wasn't budging. No workarounds. No acting liaisons. No emergency substitutions. Their final response was 3 lines long. We do not accept interim authorization under Clause 9C. Acquisition terms voided. Contract suspended. Tate tried to spin it in a meeting, said we'd rebuild the trust, whatever that meant. Someone in legal reportedly laughed out loud. The finance lead looked like he was about to cry. And then they made a mistake. They thought they could still salvage this the old-fashioned way. With charm, with pressure, with in-person theatrics. So they sent someone to my house. Late afternoon. Gray Lexus parked awkwardly across the driveway. A man in a blazer stepped out, holding a manila envelope and the kind of hope that smells like desperation in the wind. He rang the bell, waited, rang again. I was inside, lights off, sitting at the kitchen table with tea and the faint hum of jazz in the background, flipping through licensing terms for a new client inquiry that had hit QuietSeal's inbox earlier that day. He knocked. I didn't move. I watched him on the doorbell cam, pacing, checking his phone, muttering. Finally, he left the envelope wedged in the screen door and got back in the car. I let it sit there until the wind blew it off the porch. I didn't need to open it. I already knew what it said. Apologies, offers, vague hints at reinstatement and restoring alignment. They still thought this was about a job. They didn't understand I'd already built a new world from the pieces they threw away. This wasn't a grudge. It wasn't revenge. It was just done. Done letting people talk over me in meetings while I kept their infrastructure from collapsing. Done translating their mistakes into code fixes. Done playing Sherpa to a summit I was never invited to celebrate. So when they knocked, I didn't flinch. I just sipped my tea, watched the sky darken, and let the storm swirl behind a door that would never open again. By Tuesday morning, the tone inside CoreLynx had gone from damage control to full-blown cardiac arrest. The board called an emergency session, no PowerPoints, no catered breakfast, just red faces and clashing egos. The kind of meeting where people talk over each other so loudly, you forget there's a fire, because the smoke alarms were all ripped out during a modernization sprint. Tate sat at the head of the table looking like a drowned possum in a tailored suit. His swagger had vanished. His voice, once a confident drone of startup nonsense, cracked like he'd swallowed a pine cone. He started with, I think we may have, underestimated the depth of Amanda's legacy role, and didn't get more than 6 syllables in before the lead investor, a wiry man named Carl with hawk eyes and a voice like gravel and litigation, slammed a folder shut and leaned forward. Who, Carl asked quietly, authorized termination without transition planning? Dead silence. The GC looked down at his shoes. The CFO went pale. One of the board members coughed into her sleeve like it might protect her from the fallout. Tate tried again. It was a group consensus based on performance metrics, and Carl raised one hand. No more startup lingo. No more buzzwords. A $300 million deal is dead. Macrovia has made it clear they won't re-engage without Amanda's credentials. You didn't fire a developer. You severed a compliance artery. So I ask again, who? Signed. Off. The footage did the rest of the talking. Someone in PR had leaked a security still from Amanda's last day. Her photo taped to the front desk in red marker, the words "Do not let her back" on the floor scrawled beneath it like she was radioactive. It landed on LinkedIn with the caption, "How you treat your veterans tells the rest of us everything we need to know." It exploded. Former employees chimed in. Clients quietly screenshotted it. Even Macrovia's CCO liked the post, which sent the legal team into a visible tailspin. Someone printed it and brought it into the boardroom. No one wanted to look at it, but no one dared throw it away either. That afternoon, Tate sent a formal offer through HR, double salary, title bump, enhanced authority. The email hit Amanda's lawyer's inbox like a Hail Mary wrapped in tinsel. Daniel forwarded it to me with one question: want to ghost them or write back? I told him to write back. His reply was beautiful. Miss Delaney appreciates your revised offer. However, she no longer holds employee status at CoreLynx Systems. Should your organization wish to re-engage her expertise, QuietSeal LLC is available for limited licensing of relevant services. Market rates apply. Retainer required. Engagement subject to availability. Short, surgical, no drama, just facts. No more company badge, no more office politics. No more Tate. That same evening, CoreLynx's internal chat channels exploded again. The offer had leaked. Someone in HR, probably fed up, pasted the response into a staff thread titled Emergency Staffing Update. It circulated faster than any memo Tate ever wrote. And suddenly, the narrative flipped. The same people who'd barely looked Amanda in the eye now whispered her name like a myth. Not just that lady from compliance, but the woman who single-handedly brought the merger to its knees without so much as a raised voice. Even Kyle messaged me again. You really said double it and walked away, huh? I didn't reply because he wasn't wrong. I hadn't burned the bridge. I just turned it into a toll road. And now, they could either pay the fare or stand there watching the wreckage from the shore. It ended not with a press release, but with a whimper. Macrovia officially pulled out on a Thursday morning. The statement hit the wire at 7:13 a.m. due to unresolvable compliance gaps and personnel discrepancies. Macrovia Group has terminated its acquisition proceedings with CoreLynx Systems. We wish all parties well. 4 sentences. Cold, surgical. A bullet in a silk envelope. By 9:00 a.m., CoreLynx's stock was in freefall, $300 million in projected value gone like a magician's rabbit, but without the applause. By noon, someone in the finance team leaked the investor call transcript. It was brutal. The lead investor screamed. The GC deflected, and Tate apparently left mid-call with the mic still hot. I watched the CFO resign via webcast. Pale, hollowed out, delivering the usual spiel about new opportunities and family time, like anyone believed he was doing anything but fleeing the smoking crater. I never re-entered the building. Not even when they sent another courier with a new offer. Not even when the interim CTO asked for a quiet conversation over coffee. But I did answer the door for the courier that came on Friday morning. He handed me a square velvet box, no sender label, just a gold seal I recognized from Macrovia's executive suite. Inside, nestled in silk, was a note in careful, steady handwriting. Next time, they'll know who built the bridge. RM, CEO, Macrovia Group, no pitch. No ask, just recognition. The kind that doesn't come with confetti but lands like a gavel. I set it on my bookshelf, right between the merger binders and the QuietSeal operating agreement. Then I walked back to my new desk. My home office didn't smell like burnt coffee and recycled ambition. It smelled like fresh pine and control. 3 screens lit up in front of me, none connected to Slack, none tied to anyone who could call me legacy. QuietSeal LLC had just signed a 3rd client. One of them was CoreLynx. They didn't want to, but they needed to. They were licensing one of the old integrations I'd architected. The very same infrastructure they once deemed obsolete. Now, critical, and I controlled the access keys. I charged them 4x the original rate. No complaints, because this time they knew. As the sun spilled through the blinds, I wrapped my fingers around a warm cup of coffee and watched the light catch on the edge of that velvet box. A quiet morning. No meetings. No fire drills. Just clarity. My phone buzzed. New email. Subject, respectfully requesting your terms. I smiled, took a slow sip, let it sit on my tongue a moment before swallowing. Let the world run. I wasn't chasing anymore. I was the terms. Big thanks for watching, you sneaky seniors. Subscribe to keep the coffee pot brewing revenge. Your ex-colleagues won't know what hit 'em.